Hey everyone, it's Jason. We have another unboxing content video for the King of Tokyo. This is the Halloween expansions. So if you checked out my other videos I've got this, I've done the base set, which I've done, and the power-up expansion, which both have had the first and second editions. They did the same thing with this. Basically, the differences between them is the second editions have updated text to make the game a little bit easier to understand for newer players. But functionally, the cards work exactly the same. They just changed things like instead of saying damage, they showed a damage symbol. Instead of saying heal, they showed gain health. Otherwise, the content is the exact same in these boxes. For the most part, so like if you buy either one. So if you only have the original edition, you can buy either one. They work with both. And if you have the second edition, with this set, you can buy either one as well. If you want to know more gameplay, check out the first video, or if I have a how to play up, check out that. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of hop into this. What's also nice about all these, because it's just the base monsters, if you don't use any of the extra like evolution cards or any of the extra stuff, all the monsters from all the King of Tokyo and King of New York games are all interchangeable, so you can use it ever. So here we have our two different instruction books. The new ones here, version 2s, they always have like a little thing on the front that says what's actually in the set, which I really like. Otherwise, we open them up, it's going to have a lot of the same information. Set up, how to play it, the new costume cards, what evolution cards are. This one just does bigger evolution, little more or less on the costumes. And then the back, just some extra mentioning what some of the stuff is. So I'm going to look through the new one just because I think it's going to be the more updated information. So here we have a special new type. So originally we had the power-up cards, or the power-up cards. And now we can have costume cards, which added in there. So instead of saying keep or, so they're play like keep cards, but instead of keep or discard, they're called costumes. You can have multiple costumes on at a time. So each player begins with a costume if you're using these. But then they have, each player just draw two costumes, they get to choose one, so much like the evolutions. Extra shuffle, and then the rest are just shuffled into the power deck and they'll come up like normal. And then there's evolution cards, which I'll go through in just a sec. So costume cards are just like a power card, works the same. You spend whatever to buy it, you get its effect, it stays into play. That's the thing. The only difference is you can steal monster cards. So if you ever do 3 damage, you can steal 1 monster card from each monster you damage. If you do so, you must pay them the cost on the card of the costume you stole. So you can't just damage them and steal them, but you can take it away if you can pay the amount. But stealing a costume does not negate the loss of the damage. So they're going to take the 3 damage anyhow. You can just opt to also steal their costume off of them. And then evolution cards are cards that make each monster different. So normally they just have a board with victory points and health. Otherwise they play the exact same. You give them evolution cards which make them different. So each one's going to have their own 8 specific cards. It's going to tell what type of card it is. There's 3 types. There's temporary, which are you play it, it goes away. They're permanent, you play it, it stays in play and doesn't affect unless it says to get rid of it eventually. Or there's the new ones for this set, which are called gift evolution, which I'll go over in just a moment here. So you're going to get the cards that belong to these 2 new characters, monsters you get in here. Gift evolution, a new type of evolution. Monster might receive. They play them directly in your hand on a monster. You may lose health with an attack. They stay in front of the other player like permanent evolutions. The monster can gift evolutions to another monster they may have. They damage. So what it is you damage someone, you can give them one of your gift evolution cards. So you're giving them one of your cards. It's going to benefit you in some way, generally. It says the owner of a gift evolution is always a monster whose name is on the card. The target effects of a monster has the card in front of them unless that monster is the owner, therefore they're immune. But then if that person damages, they can give it to somebody else. Alright, so let's hop in and look at what we got here, and we're going to compare the two different things. So first up, we have Pumpkin Jack. So these are going to have different artwork on them. So the original one's a little bit more scary. It shows him burning down some churches, which might be the reason why they decided to redo the artwork on that one. But he's a little bit more scary. This one, he still has a church in his hand, so they kind of kept to the spirit of that a little bit. His look is actually the same, like they didn't really change what he looks like. But they gave him a candy basket full of stuff. So then we're going to have our two different standees for that. So just different designs. So if like you already own one of these, the only reason to buy it again would be to get the different pictures. So now Boogie Woogie, on the other hand, has two very different styles. So the original one, he's more of like a shadow car creature. And then the new one, he's more like Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. It's kind of like a stuffed doll with like a lizard inside of him. Now he's got some bugs around him. So yeah, if you really like the design of one over the other, that might just dictate which one of these sets you want to buy. This set more than the other ones for the artwork. The other artworks aren't that different. Like it's kind of more cartoony versus like realistic looking, but they're not that different overall. The other thing you're going to get is you're going to get orange dice. So I have them one in the box. These are original one. I have them in a little baggie. New ones. And all they do is they're just extra dice you can use instead of the black dice. They don't do anything extra. They're nothing. They don't have any special sides or any of that. They're just extra set of dice. So if like you're playing with more players, you don't have to keep passing all the dice around. It's kind of neat. Not really needed, necessary, but it's what it is. Alright, so now we're going to look at the evolution cards. So I'm going to put them both up here, so I did in the previous videos. So you can just see the different text. So the left side is the original ones, version 1, and the right ones are second edition. So basically they changed it from saying whenever a monster who owns this evolution deals damage, he deals 1 damage to the monster who has this evolution. So they changed it and they simplified it to the words owner. So every time the owner of this card makes you lose at least 1 health, they lose 1 extra health. So they went with the other thing they did second edition is they changed the word damage to losing health. And lots of times they just simplified stuff. So the monster who owns it, it's the owner of it, which is Pumpkin Jack owns it. Just to try to make it a little bit easier. And that's one of them gift evolutions. He also has Ignis Fatuus. So it just says, now it just says you have 1 less roll. And the other one says the monster who has this evolution gets 1 less reroll. Monster who owns this evolution is immune to its effects. So basically they just simplified that stuff that's stated in the rules, how a gift evolution works. They don't need to keep repeating it on every card. Makes the cards a little bit nicer. Smashing Pumpkins. All monsters with 12 or more VP lose 2 health. And I just changed it from 2 damage to 12. And it gets rid of the discard because temporary cards are discarded. So when you roll 3 ones, all other monsters must give you 1 energy or lose 2 health. Bobbing for apples. Once per turn, you can buy a power card for 2 less. If the power card that replaces it has an odd cost, discard the one you just bought and regain the spent money. This is kind of interesting. Feast of Crows. Every monster must give you 1 health, 1 VP, or 1 energy. So it's just like they changed it. discard this to oblige each monster. Why would you put oblige in a game? It's such a, like, extra term. Like, I get you're trying to make it a more thematic thing, but when you're talking game text, don't add odd thematic stuff. You add thematic stuff like that are in, like, the title of the cards, or if you have flavor text, but not in the words of what the cards do. Scythe. When you play this card or you eliminate a monster, put energy from the pool on this card. For each energy on this card, add 1 damage to your roll. And then his final one is Candy. Gain 1 health, or when you play this card, you must lose health from another monster's attack. Do not lose health and give this card to that monster. So you can just gain health, or you can avoid damage, but then they can use it. Alright, so now let's check that Boogie Woogie. So one other thing to point out is, instead like the old style have like the little symbol of their class type in the background. They kind of got rid of that in there. Instead, it's just the same picture because it was a good picture. But now this one actually changed it a lot more. It went from kind of like a Atari background with that skeleton to now it's more of like the patch. It actually changed what the card looks like. But all the cards should work the same. So we have Boo. Play this card when a monster is wounded by an attack, refuses to yield Tokyo. That monster must yield Tokyo. During the buy power cards phase, you may pay 1 to take this card back to your hand from the discard pile. Ooh, so that's kind of fun. Gift Evolution, we have Worst Nightmare. At the beginning of your turn, give 1 energy to the owner of this card or lose 1 health. I Live Under Your Bed, play with 1 less die. Boogie Dance, if you roll 4 matching faces, gain 1 energy or 1 health. Well of Shadows, gain 2 health. Worm Invaders, all other monsters lose 2 health. He just likes dealing damage and healing. Nightlife, when you take control of Tokyo, gain 1 health. And finally, we have Dusk Ritual. Play this card right after you buy a keep card, gain 2 energy and 2 health. Nice. So those are different cards for those characters. And the other thing we want to look at are our costume cards. Now, the costume cards have different backs. The original cards for the game all had this back, and now the new ones all just have more of like the generic backing. I think it just made it easier so you could shuffle them all together, or like promos. I don't know why they changed it. They did though. Alright, so we're gonna have 2 astronauts. So this would be a costume like kind of similar art. But you can see how the original ones are a little bit more cartoony, and the new ones are a little bit more detailed, but they're gonna play the same. You win with 17 instead of 20, or you must reach 17, you win the game. So we have a Ghost. At the end of each monster's turn, if you lost at least 1 health, that turn gain 1 health. A Vampire. At the end of your turn, at the end of each monster's turn, if you made another monster lose at least 1 health, gain 1 health. The Witch. If you have to lose at least 1 health from another monster's attack, you can reroll 1 of their die. You have a Devil. On your turn, you may make another monster lose at least 1 health. If you make another monster lose 1 health, they lose an extra health. Some Pirates. Steal 1 energy from each monster, you may lose at least 1 health. If you're a Dinosaur Princess, you can gain 1 VP at the start of your turn. The Zombie, which I think this card is basically broken. if you're not eliminated if you're at 0 health. You cannot lose health as long as you have 0. If you lose this card while you have 0, you are eliminated from the game. And the only reason I say this is sort of broken because basically it puts someone to the point where then all they have to do is bank VP. They can't lose. So they can go sit in Tokyo and take damage. I mean, granted, someone steals it from them, then they automatically lose the game because they can't gain health back to stay up above 0. But it doesn't say you can't gain more health. And that's the other thing. If it said you can't gain health either, then I wouldn't find this card as broken. But that's the thing. It just says you can't lose as long as you have 0 health. But you can get down to 0, and then, like, your next turn, you could roll, whatever, gain 5 health, 3 or 4 health, or whatever. You can keep staying in the game just as long as you don't die. It should have just said, like this card should have said, which should have just been, you draw this card, drop your health to 0, you can't gain health, but you can't die. Like, that would have made it better. I don't know. It's a little broken. I played a game where someone got it, and basically they just, until someone could steal it, they were just sitting there waiting to win. Like, you know. Anywho, cheerleader. You may choose to cheer for another monster on their turn. If you do, add 1 attack to their roll. So I don't like that. You may choose to cheer for another monster. It should just be like, you can add another roll. I don't like when you throw flavor text type of stuff theming into the rule text, but here we got robot, which is funny because it's a cardboard robot, both of them. You can choose to lose energy instead of health. You can dress up as a Statue of Liberty. It gives you an extra roll. And the last one is going to be a clown. If you can roll 1 of each, you can change the result for every die. It's just crazy. You can basically do whatever you want. Alright, so that's the monster, or the costumes for that. That would be Halloween expansions. So again, if I was going to have to recommend which one to get, you may as well get the newer one. It's going to be easier to find. Just because of the fact the text on it's a little bit nicer. The gift evolution, I don't know if any of the other characters in later expansions or anything use that gift evolution ability. I think that was exclusive to them. No other set so far has had costumes unless it's like a promo. So that's the only way to get costumes is to get this set. So if you really want to play the extra costumes or you want some more characters, get this. Otherwise, that could be something you could skip. The one other thing to mention, and the only other reason why you might want to buy the first one, outside if you want Shadow Woody instead of the regular one, would be it comes with a promo card for King of Tokyo. So this expansion came out right before King of Tokyo was coming out. Sorry, King of New York, which is like the side game. It plays the core gameplay is identical, but it adds more elements to it. So it's kind of like the King of Tokyo Plus. It's just this Central Park, or 55 Central Park West. It can only be purchased from in Manhattan. So you gain 2 VP. When purchased, reveal 1 card from the deck for each player in the game. Choose 1 to gain immediately. The monster to your left chooses the remaining cards, and so on and so forth, until each monster has gained 1 card. So basically, you get a card, and you get to keep passing it around. It's just a promo card that was available only in the first edition box, and they didn't add it to the second one. So if you want this card, it's one way to get it. But it's usually a card you could pass. It's not like super ultra powerful, but if you're a completionist, that might be one reason why you have to buy this set. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye.